and I've been a little bit missing the mark on recording things lately. So I'll make that a better habit. So we got back late last night. By the way, Cheryl, I don't think you've ever been to one of these before. This coffee hour is really just anything goes. It's just this is in the free community here. It's just a way for me to show up, with no agenda on my part, which is kind of nice. And just to, meet people, answer any questions. I mean, it's a free community, so, I'm not preparing a lot of material in here.
Okay.
I save that for the paid community. But anyway, there's usually anywhere from 4 to 5. There's some regulars that tend to show up, which is awesome. We have a good time. So
Shoot the
anyway,
shit, in other words, Cheryl. Welcome.
yeah. And I mean, if you actually go look at some of the past replays, I don't even know how many there are now. There's a lot, but we get into some interesting topics. It's always fun.
All right. I'm just here to go with the flow and see what it's about.
Love it. Yeah. So whatever comes up, anything's on the table.
All right.
So we got into town. First of all, the flight got delayed, and I'm pretty sure we were the reason it got delayed. Because, triplets in an airport, and our nanny, she's not our actual nanny, but she's my sister-in-law, Francesca's sister, went with us because we had to buy a third ticket anyway. So she rode with us, and she was a huge help, but she had a bad reaction to some antibiotics. So she was not feeling well. And it could be an interesting neuro conversation that we can get into, but regardless, she couldn't swallow. Like, she was having pain swallowing, and it would get stuck, and it was a lot of weird stuff going on. And the reaction to the antibiotic was like crazy acid reflux that she had for like 10 days. And so she had quit the antibiotics, thought she would be getting better. She really did not get better. So 5 days into the trip, she had to fly home and go to the hospital, which was unfortunate. She's doing okay. They're trying to figure it out. But anyway, we were left without our help on the flight home. And so the solution was we have to bring a car seat onto the plane. Okay. Here's the other thing. Like, I didn't know that you could not have more than one infant on a lap in one row. They only have 4 masks, oxygen masks. So you can have one infant on the lap. That's it. Okay. Coming up to Montana, it was fine because our flight attendants were a mother and son combo, and the mom had like 8 kids. The son had 4 kids. They were like, "You're good." If they had moved us to different rows, split us all up, each with a baby, but then the whole front row was open. It was just, so they were like, "You can come up here. Just bring the babies up. You're fine." And that was like a dream. It was great because we had the whole front row, extra leg room. I just blocked off the aisle and they just played in there. It was great. On the way down last night, it was a full flight. It's the last flight of the season for Allegiant coming back from Montana. So it was jam-packed. And they called me up to the gate, which I knew was going to happen because we had 3 in a row. And they're like, "You can't have 3 infants." And I'm like, "I know, you can move me. But here's the thing, Bella is not with us. So we need to have 2 infants in a row. One will be in the car seat." She's like, "You can't do that." I'm like, "Yes, I can." From my understanding, the issue is the oxygen masks, correct? You can only have 4 human beings in a row. And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Okay, well, Bella's not here. So infant in a car seat, one on my lap, some random person. We good?" She's like, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll make that work." So I sit there for like 10 minutes while my child is screaming on my shoulder. He just wants to move, right? I'm like, "Can we hurry this up?" But she cannot figure this out. So she found a row and she put two of us in a row. And then she gave me two boarding passes. I'm like, what about the third person? She's like, oh, I would have put them somewhere else. I'm like, okay, but can we maybe just get these two tickets together instead of someone in the middle of us? Because I don't think they would appreciate sitting next to a car seat and in between us. She's like, okay, we'll try to figure that out. Long story short, she sends me on my way. She's like, I got two seats. Here's two boarding passes. We're gonna get the other one in the middle of you guys, and it's gonna be great. And I'm like, hold on. So you mean all three of us in the same row? Like I had just had it already? Doesn't that defeat the purpose? And she's like, no, it's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna move this person. She's gonna be in your row. And I'm like, okay. And so I walk away. I'm like, this seems weird. I only have two boarding passes now. We paid for three seats. So I go back up there. I'm like, did you find somebody to switch? She's like, yeah, I moved them. I'm like, do I need an extra boarding pass? She's like, no, it's gonna be fine. So we go on the plane. We're all sitting in the same row. I get the car seat in there, get the baby in there. I'm holding one. Francesca comes and sits. We're all in the same row. I'm like, this was a waste of time. Why did we even do this? And then, of course, the plane completely fills up, and then one woman walks on, and she's looking at me the whole time walking down. She's like, I'm supposed to be in that middle seat. And I go, oh, I think they switched you. There's the woman from the gate. Can you just check with her? And this woman from the gate that set all this up comes down and she's like, oh, you have to move. You can't have three in a row. And I'm like, what are we talking about here? I asked you this multiple times and you only gave me two boarding passes. She's like, yeah, because you have an infant and one on the seat. And I'm like, yeah, I told you the nanny's not here. We have the car seat. We need to be together. Right. And she's like, hey Zoe, and she goes, so this woman, she's like, there's no other seats. You have to sit there. And I mean, what do you mean she has to sit there? I paid for three seats. She's like, no, you guys are gonna have to maybe go on another flight. And I'm like, what? You're gonna kick us off the plane because we can't have three in a row and now we don't have a seat? And she's like, yeah, we might just have to have, and by the way, there's no other flights. This is the last flight to Phoenix for the season. It's not like there's one tomorrow. No, I would have to get on a different airline or go 3 hours to a different city. I'm like, no, we're gonna ride on this plane. Like it almost, there was like a little bit of tension that was building where I was gonna have to have like an argument or something with this woman. And luckily, this woman that was supposed to be in the seat, she's like, I'll hold a baby. And I'm like, really? Like, there's no other seats on the plane. She gave my ticket away. She just like took the ticket off so that there was no more baby. Oh, no more problem. Luckily, so I get the car seat off the plane and she holds a baby. And now we can't sit, so we have to like play musical chairs. And I had to move to a different row. And then she had to sit in a different row so Francesca could hold one, she could hold one. And then now I got a baby who was with a stranger
Mm.
and like trying to go to sleep and just screaming. And so we have to like start shuffling babies around so I can soothe one and then hand it off. And then it starts screaming and then I have to soothe the other one. It became just a fiasco. Thank goodness. Like God, the universe, and whoever else is out there, like put us in this position. It was the perfect scenario. Like we were supposed to be in row 4, we got moved to row 10. And in row 10, this wonderful woman came and offered to hold a baby for the whole flight. And then I'm sitting next to grandparents, great grandparents. They just came to meet their great grandson for the first time. He's like 7 months old. And they are like the sweetest people in the world. So very understanding. And then there is a couple who are just like baby whisperers that are sitting there too, like in the other row. And so we were just shuffling babies, and everyone was so wonderful. Like it couldn't have been in a better position. Still, I am like not happy with this airline and how they handled this situation. They literally just gave my ticket away to someone else. And then my babies had to,
That though, in that time, how did they just give you like you bought the ticket? Hey,
yeah.
so how did they just give it away like
So
in a
Allegiant
minute?
is the airline, and they do this often. They overbook flights, and then they, will offer people like a voucher or something to, take a different flight. Or people that don't select a seat, they just randomly assign them somewhere.
Hmm.
I selected my seats. I paid a lot of money for these tickets
Yeah.
to go priority, first class, like all the things, because we're traveling with infants. So not only did they move us all over the place, but then I don't know what she did, but she essentially just like canceled one of my tickets and gave it to someone else. I don't, I think there was an open seat somewhere on that plane, but everybody was in such a rush. Like we were already 30 minutes late leaving. And so I think she was just really flustered and she made a mistake, but she didn't own it. And then she like blamed me for giving my seat away. And
What airline was this?
Allegiant.
Okay, I'm glad you didn't say United.
I mean, they're usually very good. And I'm going to write a letter, an email to the president. I mean, like, listen, this could have been a PR disaster for you. Because if they would have kicked us off that flight, I would have made a scene. And by make a scene, I would have just been like, hey, everybody, can you pull out your phones and take a video of this, please? Because this is ridiculous. They gave away my seat and now they're kicking me off the plane because of their mistake. So thank goodness for that woman. And everything worked out fine. But still, it was like a $700 plane ticket, three of them, and they gave one away. So I think I'm well within my rights to ask for a credit or something for that ticket. It was wild. It was a wild time. Luckily, they all eventually fell asleep, but for a while there, it was a little bit of a madhouse. So, traveling with infants is an adventure.
Traveling with is an adventure. And with 3 infants, I don't even know what you call that.
Maybe insane. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't know. It's
It
it's
was.
uh it's awesome that those and I would have been like that, Kate, Cheryl. If somebody was like that and needed somebody to hold a baby, it's not a problem. But still, you thinking to yourself, who is this person? Are they dirty or what?
Yeah. Yeah. And they were all just, I mean, so incredible. The people that were just right around us. We were placed there by a higher power, I think. It was no coincidence. But still, it's just you gotta laugh at it because otherwise you just get angry and cry. So, yeah, I mean, it was an adventure. And by the end of it, when we were waiting for our bags, it's like 10:30 probably last night when we got in. We were waiting for all of our bags and car seats and everything else that we had to travel with. And probably 5 or 6 different um, people came up to us and said something to the effect of, you guys are amazing. You did an amazing job, number one. And also, I can't believe they were trying to kick you off this flight. That's insane. We would have mutinied the whole plane if that would have happened. Could you imagine, like, kicking off a parents and their infant triplets, and then this woman, bless her heart, I saw her afterward, and I was like, "Hey, G, good to see you, brother." Um, this woman, her name was Casey. I said, Casey, I love you. You're the best. But also, That would have been pretty wild if they would have kicked us off and then you would have had that whole row to yourself. She's like, yeah, I would have never let that happen. I would have got off with you. I couldn't take that. Everyone would have been like, you know, I don't know, looking kind of funny. But at the end of the day, we're home. And that's all to say, you know, we got in about 12 o'clock last night after it was all said and done. And yeah, so I'm here. But part of me is definitely wishing I was back in the Northwest because it was gorgeous. It was a good time. So that's my story. How are you guys doing? Who's got questions for me today or subjects they want to talk about?
Pictures of the baby, babies.
Let's look at pictures. We could do that.
I could throw out a random question, but now, you know,
Sure.
I think we have to see pictures of the baby first. I'm going to feel bad.
I'll pull some up and we'll see.
Or last, that's fine, long as I see him.
I'll pull some up and we sneak them in there while Cheryl asks a question.
I like it. Okay. Yeah, so I've actually worked with this before. It seems about anywhere from 4 to 6 months. I get vertigo for a few days. Started noticing it again yesterday. It's kind of mild, but you know, if I bend over to pick something up, like this morning when I was doing some exercises where I was just laying on the ground, like a glute bridge, so forth, I notice it. And it's not that bad right now, but it's definitely there. And I remember at one point I had it. It was during the live training, so a couple folks were helping me with it as well, and we were doing some inhibitory drills. And there were things I was responding positively to. So to say that they affected the vertigo directly or not, I'm not sure. They might have. Usually lasts for a few days. And I know there's something called the Foster method, which I haven't done, but I know that I have that in my notes. So my random question is, since I have this going on right now, do you have any go-to drills, almost like a vertigo drive-by that maybe you go to first? Because I have a friend that just went through this last week. Anthony actually just went through this about 2 weeks ago, which is interesting. So I'm just curious if there's any like initial go-to drills that you do that you could try with people first.
Sometimes. I usually ask a couple more questions, like, because you want to tease out the type of vertigo that is happening, because there's something like 6 types of vertigo. There's 2 main categories. There's essentially mediated vertigo, which means it's coming like central nervous system, which essentially means it's threat related, but it may not be like a specific vestibular dysfunction. And then there's BPPV, which is like benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, which means like when I change my head position, the little crystal gets dislodged and then it gets stuck in one of the canals. And so my brain then thinks that I'm always spinning. And that's not a comfortable feeling. So that's where the Epley maneuver and the Foster method are really useful.
Okay, what's the name of the other one that you just said?
The Epley maneuver, you need a little help to do. That's what they've been doing for decades in physical therapy and chiropractic clinics.
Okay.
But the Foster method is a do-it-yourself method that works well. It's a little bit easier. And so you want to tease out which one of them it is. There's a test that you can do. You kind of need some help to do it as well. It's called the Dix-Hallpike maneuver, named after Dixon Hallpike. But that you kind of need some help because you got to tilt your head off of like a table and then turn. And then you could do it yourself. And what you're looking for is a nystagmus. Do you know what that means?
Nope.
Okay, nystagmus is like a shaking of the eyeballs.
Oh.
Yeah, and that will happen if you're having this BPPV. So like if you were to lie on your bed and let your head drop off the edge and then to one side, eyes open.
Hmm.
You can see it because your vision goes a little shaky, like a shaky cam.
Okay.
So you can try it to both sides and see, and that would be, if it does shake, that would be a positive finding for dislodged crystals. And then you would use the Foster method. This is all do it yourself.
Awesome. And,
If it's
and the other method that you said that requires a second person, can you spell that? What was the name of that?
Epley, named after Dr. Epley, and it's
Okay.
Epley, I believe.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So once you figure out if it's BPPV or if it's just some other kind of vertigo, if it's not BPPV, then you want to go with your threat reducing drills.
Okay.
So I would specifically look to sensory integration and vestibular function.
Okay.
And then third would be visual. So sensory integration with bouncing, shifting, infinity walks, your integrated drills, and then look more specifically at the vestibular system. I usually ask some history questions like what's been happening every few months, right? You said live training, that's after a flight?
Well, it actually started before the flight, but that is a good call.
Okay.
Yeah, it started before I got on a plane.
So air travel can mess with your sensory integration a little bit and your vestibular system.
Mhm.
So it's always a good idea to do a little vestibular reset after you travel by car or plane or train, but especially plane. Hey, Sandra, good to have you. In fact, my sister-in-law was having a rough time the day after we got to Montana. And so we did a full vestibular reset. And it took about 5 minutes. But it's essentially going through each vestibular organ and then testing them and then kind of recalibrating them, which is just a fancy way of saying like find a good activation dosage with each one of them so that they're all kind of recalibrated on the level, so to speak.
Can you talk more about when you say a vestibular reset and some of the things you do for that?
Yeah, so I'll walk you through exactly what we did with her.
Awesome.
The first thing we did was a cranial nerve reset for cranial nerve number 8, which is the vestibulocochlear nerve. So all your vestibular function and auditory function goes into that, is created, a nerve impulse goes into your brainstem. To reset that nerve, it's a simple method of just tugging on the ear up and back, down and back, and straight down. In 6, well, any head position really, but we usually do the 6 head positions of the balance progression. So turn, turn, tilt, tilt, up and down, and yank on each one of those. We actually only did the right side for her because it was like immediate threat reduction. And she's a neurotrainer also, so she knows a little bit about her own brain and nervous system. So we didn't even need to do the left. Normally I would do the left, but we did the right side, cranial nerve 8 reset. That's a good thing that I will often do when I have something like this, when I want to reset somebody, recalibrate what's going on. In the visual system, I would do the visual resets first and then go into some assessments and drills. Okay, so then we went into the assessments and drills. And we started with bouncing. So just saccule bouncing up and down for about 10 seconds. That's all she needed. Then we did some utricle shifting, lateral shifting back and forth. She has a right side issue, which showed up when she went to the left. A little head bob. And after 5 reps, she had an nystagmus. So on the 5th rep, those eyes went, you're done. We stopped, and it was a really good reassessment. Her walk was incredible. Her breath just like calmed. That was like the reset that she needed in that moment. But we did our due diligence and we went through all of them. So we did saccule, utricle, both of the otolith organs, okay? And then we did the semicircular canals. And we just did some VOR. All we did was no, no, yes, yes. And then she did some diagonals. She only did about 3 reps of each. That was really all she needed. That was what her nervous system was telling me was enough. Interesting thing about her was, as we went through this, when she went in one of the directions of VOR, I don't remember exactly which one. I think it was, yeah, I don't remember. But it was bad news. Like 2 reps and she was starting to get woozy and getting a little vertigo. So we went to, that was something that needed rehabbed. Like you can't have your VOR that broken and like walk through the world. And also she was getting her vertigo when her head was moving down like this. So I think it was like the anterior canal. That makes the most sense. Okay. So every time she would drop her head, and here's why it happened, by the way, going all the way back on the plane, she rode with us, right? We all had babies. She has her own baby who's 3 weeks younger than my kids. He's got to move. So she was walking with him, holding his hands and walking down the aisle of the airplane, and her head was down like this the whole time. Okay. So in that position for 2 hours or so, her nervous system with all the other stuff going on was like, this is not good. Like, stop it. So that's where the threat was coming from. So when we tested that VOR, boom, major threat, vertigo, tightening up, nauseous. She was not loving it. So we got to rehab that, right? So we got the utricle reset, the vestibular cochlear nerve reset, and then we found this problem. So to reset it, what we did was we had her stay in neutral, and we did the eye movement for the VOR. Okay, so it was her canal. What are my eyes doing? They're going up and to the left. So first off, just put your eyes there and hold it. Gaze stabilization. Did that for about 10 seconds. That worked really well. She tried the VOR, still not good. Okay, let's up the ante. And we did some smooth pursuits. Do the actual eye movement. She did 5 or 6, didn't need a lot, worked well. She went back, she could do 3 reps and it got a better assessment. Okay, that was it. We stopped there. By the way, we were doing bag breathing. We were doing some cranial nerve smell, other stuff to just keep her threat low while we did this. But that was enough to activate the pathway, kind of like backdoor. And then she was able to do it. And then for the rest of the day, she just continued doing those high payoffs. And her vestibular system recalibrated and everything was great. She felt great. The rest of the trip was awesome.
That's awesome. That cranial 8 nerve reset, I'm sorry, I don't mean to hog here. I've never seen that before. So real quick, it's you were moving the ear in different directions, but also moving the head.
So hold the head in this position, and then you go up and back, down and back, straight down.
Okay.
And into this position, same for this position, this position. You can really do any position. Like we could hold it in this anterior canal position and do it right here.
Okay.
That would actually be worth trying with her because we found that issue.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. G, you got a question?
Yes. Thank you. Great questions, Cheryl. Thank you. It was great listening in. Thanks, Brandon. I have a different question. I think in the past year and a half, approximately, I've been like in 3 trainings on neuroscience and depth psychology parallel to each other. And I think and I completed them all, but I think I've overly cognitive overload to the max.
Mm.
And I notice what I'm noticing is that my brain is just out of whack. Like for 2 months now, I just had to stop study anything that is even in work, like cognitively. You know what I do as for a profession, and I noticed like the overwhelm is coming really fastly, and it's like brain fog, overwhelm. Like this morning, I was in a call. I got inspired. There were like gazillion parallel structures, visions, ideas systemically that I was able to bring forward, but after like 30 minutes, I was like completely. I felt I nearly panicked. In like whoa, I cannot contain it anymore. It's like completely overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what I do is I take a shower, slow down, ground, relax, go in nature, walk as much as possible. Luckily, I have all space and time to decide by myself. But from a neurological perspective, if it would be, let's say, cognitive overwhelm, way too much, what is the fastest way to track back from this, apart from taking rest? Are there any drills? Because I notice it's like I'm getting overstimulated way too fast. For example, just now listening in already, it's like, okay, controlled breathing, like grounding myself, and I have to be really, really mindful of that. Is there any way that how would you go about this?
Yeah, great question, Chi. And this is a common thing with really high performing entrepreneurs, business owners, and athletes as well, that are really hard driving, and the simple answer is well, you're kind of already doing the things, but I think the things that you're doing are they're low-hanging fruit, but they're probably not like very, I'm going to use the word powerful, right? You're playing with like little bits of threat reduction,
Yeah.
like calming breathing techniques. Grounding is great. That can be very powerful. But depending on where the threat is actually coming from, and if it's cognitive overwhelm, overload, especially when it comes to like brain fog and stuff, that oftentimes is to me, that screams disconnect between back and front of brain, and you're getting a little bit of like, let's call it frontal lobe hyperactivity, where it's kind of like spinning up and going out of control. And so your thought process is really good. Like get back into your body, somatic type practice kind of stuff. But to take that to the next level, it would be integrated practices of vision, vestibular, and movement. Okay. And actually using the visual system and possibly the inner ear as well to lower the threat and connect back in front of brain. Okay, so this is really common with clients and patients or anybody out there that has like ADD or ADHD, OCD type traits. Anything that is like the brain like gets spun up out of control and tends to overwhelm, and then the survival brain takes over. It's like shut it down, take it over back here, right? And then we get stuck in this like emotionally reactive or anxious state that is hard to get out of using like mental cognitive processes. Like you can't talk your way out of survival mode.
No, like the felt sense this morning was like in 2022 when I had a burnout, I got in this space and I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Like I'm spiraling out. I'm going into psychosis or something. That's the thought. Like I know in that moment, it's like, okay, slow down, don't buy into the stories, sit with this, and go in nature or space. But
and that's
I know
go
sorry?
ahead. Go ahead.
Well, so from a somatic practices perspective, regulating exercises and everything, I know somewhat what to do, but I feel I should be able to do more, without doing more powerful, let's say impactful, like I think what you were saying, and I noticed that this is like only this is needed to get me back in that state again. So I want to like counter it systemically by maybe 3 times a day doing the right practices.
Yeah.
And not me having to be in a position all day where I'm like, yeah, okay, so basically I cannot do anything. I should go take another walk or some. So what's how to go about this?
Yeah. So there's two ways to go about it. The first is turning down the dials on an area of your brain called the midbrain or mesencephalon. This is the area of your brain that's always asking, do I need a sympathetic response? Do I need to wind things up? And it's a survival part of your brain. And when it gets wound up, that's when you're kind of stuck in that mode and you have to go into nature and like calm it down.
Yeah.
So this is the area of the brain that we need to turn down the dials, but it doesn't understand language. Okay. Right. So we can't talk our way out of this survival. So the somatic tools and the nature walking and the meditation and the like slow breathing, those are fine, but they're not powerful enough. You're right. They're not impactful enough. Okay. To turn this part of the brain down, you can turn down the visual system. So your colored glasses, just wearing a hat or pinhole glasses, even wearing occlusion type tape on the lenses to just cut down some visual input, that can be really helpful. An earplug can also be really helpful. There are some other things like taping or bracing a joint can actually turn this area down. And so those can be helpful to just turn down some sensory information so that that area of the brain can turn down and then the cortex can process better. That's one way. And then the other way is the activation stuff that we were kind of talking about, which is your breath work, your nature, your somatic stuff. Those are fine, but more impactful ways to do that would be integrated movement with vestibular and visual input. The infinity walk is like the perfect example of that. Okay. You know
How does that work?
The infinity walk is you walk a figure 8, okay, with your eyes locked on a target.
Walk a figure 8 without turning, so keeping your eyes front, and then so there's a part you walking backwards.
No, you don't walk backwards. There's a whole video on it in the course.
In the do-it-yourself neuro training?
Yeah, I'll put the it's like an 8-minute video. It goes through all of the different, well, some of the basic levels of it. And yeah, there it is. Putting it right now. There you go. Your eyes lock on a target. You never walk backwards. Those are the 2 rules. But you just walk figure 8 with your eyes on the target, and it integrates all of the sensory systems together.
Yeah.
That can be very impactful, and there's ways to progress it to make it harder to have even more impact. The other things to do would be like some more challenging integrated drills like the coordination chart, the arrow chart, and other integrated drills like bouncing and VOR. Okay, so where your head's moving which your eyes lock on a target. These systems above your neck are so much more powerful. That's why they can have such a bigger impact in those situations.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah. So if I echo you, so if I understand you correctly, the aim is to limit the midbrain,
Yes.
so that the cortex can process better,
Mm-hmm.
and I do so by visual impairment,
Yep.
either from sensory input or change of color. Then the colors green, red, purple, brown are good colors, right?
I mean, any color that's good for you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. And then walking the figure 8, and then you mentioned a couple of other exercises. Is it possible for you to shoot me an email or WhatsApp with the specific exercise you mean? If I'm not over asking, please say no. If it's
I'll send you a quick list. Yeah, no problem.
amazing. And then the quantity. Do I do it each morning, or do I do it when I'm activated, or do I do it in the morning, the mid, the afternoon, and the evening, for example? What's
I would try to do it 3 to 5 times a day.
Okay.
Any of your drills. When you're feeling spun up, definitely do it then. Yeah,
Yeah.
to calm things down. And if you know you're going into a heavy cognitive like session,
Yeah.
you're going to be seated talking to someone or learning, I would definitely do it before that session.
Okay. And what is your view on dolphin stim? Are you familiar with that? The dolphin stim, this device? It's like it's like putting electrical frequency on your ear.
It's great.
Does from a neurological perspective, what is this exercise exactly doing then?
Probably 2 things. It's vagus nerve stimulation and also just a type of sensory input that will go to the opposite cortex.
Okay, so would this also be a good helpful in my case?
Yeah, it certainly could be. Yeah, when you activate the vagus nerve, it will downregulate the mesencephalon or the midbrain.
Okay. Okay.
So I would just use your assessment to check it. So test
Yeah.
your balance or your range of motion and put it on,
Yeah.
and then test again. Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. So we will speak because I need to go. We will talk to each other Wednesday. I saw in my calendar, so that's amazing. I'll track back on it then. This is already so helpful, Brendan. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I'm gonna start with it tomorrow, walking the figure 8.
All right. I look forward to hearing how it goes.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a great evening, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you're at.
Thanks, G. Good to see you.
Bye.
So, Brandon, I have a question.
Yeah,
kind of related to what George was talking about and what Cheryl was talking about. Oh, look at there. Okay, I'm distracted now.
That's adorable. Aren't you missing one?
Yeah, she's somewhere, or he's somewhere.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Zoe, you can ask away if this is not too distracting.
It is distracting. Because aren't they, darling? Because I want to concentrate on that.
I do have to go in about 3 minutes, so if it's a burn.
Okay, so my question is with the brain resets or regulators, how often can you do those? And I guess if somebody's sedentary, that's really good for them to do.
Yeah, it'd be good for anybody, and you can do them as often as you like. They work kind of both ways. If the nerve is really low, it'll bring it back up, and if it's really hot, it will bring it down.
Nice.
So you can do them often. I took the babies to meet Grandpa while we were up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and Karen wanted to tell you it's like they were in another world, rolling in grass and touching on it.
Yeah. Grandma, she just turned 90.
Wow.
Let's see. We got anything else? Here's a good one. They were having a grand old time eating cottage cheese. They love their cottage cheese, let me tell you.
That's a great picture.
And they all went on a boat ride.
Oh.
Vinny did not love it, but you know. We did some golfing.
I'm gonna say,
Oh,
apparently
yes.
good looks run in the family. You've got good genes there.
Why, thank you.
Even grandma's not looking 90, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, she looks
She doesn't
good.
act 90 either.
Well, that's probably why she doesn't look it, right?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Aw.
Look at that face.
You know what's really cute is, and I know you gotta go. Hold on, I'm gonna grab this and talk because I can run away and listen. As they get older, you will take those photos and they will be like such a preamble to the personality that you're going to get.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to run. This is my oldest, but this face, can you see that, like, what the hell are you doing? Like that, like,
Yeah.
what the F? Yeah, that's still her face. It's very
Yeah.
much like I get that look still to this day, and she's 21. So when you look back at those, you'll be able to be like, oh, yeah, that's where it started.
Oh, yeah. We're already seeing that big time.
Love it.
Benny's the hard charger. Ben kind of goes with the flow. But Stevie is the little princess. And I gotta be careful not to like put that on her, but she definitely is little. She's yeah. She's more picky. She's a little shy. She's just a little dainty. She's also the smallest. Yeah. They're definitely the personalities from day one. They have been pretty distinct. Yeah. All right, guys. I gotta run. I'm teaching solo today. Matt's on vacation, so
Nice.
yeah. So I gotta try to get logged in on his all stuff and get myself ready.
Awesome.
Thanks for being here. Great as always. Great questions, great topics, great discussion.
Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see you around the bend. I'm sure I'll see
Till
you all
next
soon.
time.
All right. Bye, guys.